السلام حياة قد جاء في القرآن أن السلام.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to iTREND on ITV. I'm your host, Zaheerah Bham Ismail. Alhamdulillah, it's been a wonderful week that has passed, and I know for many of the private schools in the Johannesburg area today are closing for half term. So what better way to kickstart your half term than getting involved in photography? One of my first guests in the studio today is a remarkable, dynamic young man by the name of Mems Kareem from the Instagram page Mems and Farida Kareem. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the studio.
Walaikum salam. Thanks for the invite.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I mean, I was looking at your page and the pictures you take are absolutely dynamic. You and your wife both are into wildlife photography and landscape photography. So is this a job or is this a hobby?
It's unfortunately a hobby. We still have to work for, other full-time jobs. We wish it could be, but wildlife photography in its sense on its own is unlike other genres of photography where you can derive an income. I think the income on this side is much less because of the limitations in the industry.
Absolutely. Mems, how did you actually get involved in photography? I mean, when we talk about it, it's only recently that we're seeing people paying more attention to the pictures they take of food or clothing or something so that they can post it up onto Instagram. We see many people talking about flat lays and getting the lighting correctly. But you've been doing this, you and your wife have been doing this for many years. How did you actually get started in this industry?
Yeah, I think wildlife itself, it started when I was actually an infant. We've been visiting the Kruger National Park as a family holiday every single year and going with my parents. And then it came a stage that I wanted to do a little bit more. So I joined the volunteer organization that helps the national parks with doing extra duties, just assisting. And then I went further and said, listen, I want to become a field guide, and actually went and did a qualification in as a trails guide in the Kruger. And I actually take out guests, which I still do till today, on walks and drives in the Kruger National Park. Wow. But then, you know, it also still captured a small audience, those people that were already interested in the national parks itself. Then my message, I wanted to get it across to a wider audience. And I thought, due to our natural heritage we have in South Africa, and something we should be really proud of, especially in our country, I wanted to promote it to a wider audience. And that's when the photography part came in. But it actually came in quite late in my life. It's not until I got married that when we were going on honeymoon, my sister-in-law actually came and said, here's a camera, take it along with you. And it was actually one of these disposable film cameras. You could take a certain amount of images and then you had to throw it away and buy another one. And you could, and that's where it really started. And from there I bought a film camera. And it started with a point-and-shoot digital camera, and so it evolved and to a stage where now I think we've taken photography very seriously. So
we need to thank your sister-in-law for this.
I think that's where it started, yes.
I have to ask you, you mentioned about being a volunteer and doing these walks and that through the park. For me, it sounds like something so far remote because very often we see an entire generation, even now, busy in the malls or going out into places here. And you rightfully said, we are living in South Africa where our natural heritage is so rich, but we don't make the most of it. How do people actually get involved in that? Do you think this was something you got involved with because your family enjoyed it? Or was it something you just had a natural inclination towards?
I think it's, my family is, I think a bit of both. But I also have a very strong natural inclination towards it as well. And it's funny you say about, you know, the malls, and I often get people saying, you know, we need to get back into the bush where life is down back to its grassroots and that. But also there's a flip side to that, you know. People say, you know, can you remember the days where we used to ride bicycle and be out and the children, it's not available to the children, but times have changed, you know. And we are living in a very technologically advanced world, and that's where I feel photography could replace something for the children. So rather than go against technology, go with it.
I like that.
And instead of just letting them sit on the iPads, get them a camera and let them do something where they can use their minds in a more creative manner.
So it's almost bridging the gap.
That's what I'm saying, it's bridging. So don't exclude it or don't do anything. Just bridge the gap and embrace it.
Fantastic. I think that's a wonderful idea. And like you're saying, it's using what's already there, but to your advantage, to make your kids a little bit more analytical thinking and making them more creative.
That's it.
In terms of you starting off on your honeymoon, I mean, was this something your wife was interested in as well, or was this something that you both found together?
We actually both found it together. None of us were inclined towards photography. It just didn't exist.
But then when I have a look at your pictures now, I mean, I spent much of last night and this morning going through a lot of the pictures. It's absolutely remarkable. And I know after the segment, we did mention that we'll speak about tips and tricks that you could utilize when taking pictures. But how long does it take for you to get that perfect picture?
I think it's years of experience. I think when you start off, and I'll be honest with you, I started off taking quite average images and images that I thought were quite good. And as you go along, you learn, and you learn new different techniques, different ways to take photographs. And I think it really changed for me the day I decided, let me book on a wildlife photography workshop with a professional. So I looked in the industry and said, who's really good? And I want to go out with this person and I want to learn. And I went out and we took some images the first day, and some very nice backlit images. And we were having a sundowner and just enjoying a beautiful sunset. And this professional got so excited and he said, wow, shot of the day. And I looked in the distance and I saw, wow, it's a beautiful sunset, but I didn't see anything spectacular about it. Like, meanwhile, what he was actually seeing was right in front of us. There was a cricket sitting on a branch with the sun in the background. And it just, that changed my thought in the way I see things in photography, is the attention to small detail. So you just don't look what's proud out there, you have to look for the specific details. And I think if you look at my photography now, we look for specific details, and there's always that attention to detail, the pose in which the animal is, the lighting, it's those type of things that make good photography.
Do you think that that merges into how you live your life on a personal basis and your perspective on life in terms of appreciating the small things that Allah has blessed us with?
Definitely. I definitely think it's had an impact on the way I look at everything in life.
I have to ask you, you've got children as well.
I do.
How does this plan and this lifestyle fit in with them? Because you have to have a lot of patience to be able to do this. This is not something that we go out, click a picture and, oh, it's done, the perfect picture is there. How does this fit in terms of also teaching them the patience of being able to appreciate what you and your wife both love?
I think, we're fortunate enough that my wife and I first have the same interests, because I think that I wouldn't have been at the level that I am at today. And also the kids, they have exactly the same interests. They saved up money. They said, listen, what do you want to buy? We want to buy a camera. And that's where it started. So I said, I never forced them into doing it. I said, they must obviously choose what they want to do. I can never force them, but they chose that way, and they actually do enjoy it thoroughly.
Alhamdulillah. We're going to have to take a very quick ad break, but when we come back, we're going to be chatting about tips and skills, if this is something that is of interest to you, how to get that perfect picture, and also we're going to push to find out how do we get our kids involved. Stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back after that ad break. We're chatting to Mems Kareem about his photography journey and where it's brought him to until now. If you look at the Instagram page, which I will tag on my page as well, they have got the most dynamic page of wildlife photography and landscape photography. And if there's anything you want to know, these are the people to be asking. Mems, we spoke about your family involvement. We spoke about the way you capture pictures, how difficult it is. What are the right ways? What are the tips and tricks we need to be looking out for when we're taking pictures? Because I'll tell you, my friends repeatedly tell me I take the worst pictures under the sun. I keep blaming my camera, but I know it's who of me. So how do we get that perfect picture?
For me, the two most important things in photography is light. That is probably the most important, how you use light to your advantage. And obviously then composition, where you place your subject in the frame itself, to be able to give it the best possible exposure. So with light itself, I'm going to give you a simple example. We're sitting in the studio, and if we light you from the front and we're going to take a picture of you, I'm going to get a very nice exposed picture because the whole subject is lit. But it's also a very flat image. It's a very one-dimensional image. So I do the same thing, and I put the light straight at the back of you. And what it creates is a rim light around you, and it creates that mystique. And thing behind you. So it gives you same subject using a light now from a different angle, a different perspective. Then I can put a light on the side of you, so only one side of your face is lit and the other is dark. That also gives you another. It gives you depth and dimension in your image. So it works similar in, in wildlife photography. Is use the angle of the light to get the most out of your images as well. So position yourself. It's not always getting close to the animal and getting it the closest close up, but it's also using light to be able to get different depth and dimensions in your image.
And that, I suppose, is where the tricks lie. But this is obviously something that doesn't come instantly by picking up a camera.
Yes.
You've got to know how to do it. Again, when I mentioned sometimes I think it's just my phone that I get to pick up and do it. You are busy with serious camera equipment. This is obviously a very expensive hobby. I know my husband is very into photography, not at the level that you're at, but I know it's an expensive hobby. But for somebody out there who wants to just start, what would be a feasible or an entry-level camera that you would say this would start you on the road to getting you nice pictures and learning the tips and tricks?
That's a question I get asked quite often, and it's a very difficult one to answer because one of the limitations is budget. If you want to get into photography, the better the camera you're going to buy, the better the images you're going to get. But it also boils down to technique. So if you don't have good equipment and good technique, you're still wasting your time. So, it goes hand in hand. So my advice is buy the most affordable camera that you can buy, and then start from there. Because if you can afford a very expensive and a very high-end camera, then go for it, because it will definitely give you an advantage in your photography. And if you can just get the entry level, then do that as well.
Are there benefits to name brands, or do you think any camera would be able to do the job?
The two most common brands, Nikon and Canon, but there's other great brands out there, Sony, Fuji, Olympus, and they're all great cameras. There's also different technologies in cameras. You got digital SLR, and you're even getting now mirrorless, which is coming quite strong into the market. And we'll see. I mean, there are some limitations currently on the mirrorless technology, but I think in future that might just be where we're going.
For our kids, we mentioned earlier in the first segment about bridging this gap, about making sure they utilize technology to their advantage. And what I love about photography is not only does it keep you one with nature, but it also gives you that chance, like Mems had mentioned earlier, about appreciating the small things, which are actually the big things in our lives. We waste so much time looking at the bigger things, looking for problems. And when you're doing photography, we were speaking a little off air about how much it humbles you, because you realize there's so much more in this world, and the Creator has blessed us with so much. So how do our kids get involved so that they learn these lessons from early on?
What we did is a concept we use in Roshni, where I come from. Some of the photographers from the older generation that still came from the camera, from the film world, they came and said, let's create this photography club. But it's not like a photography club that we have nowadays, where you have to go through a merit system and you get rated and people critique your photos. We said, let's rather get the community involved, especially the kids. Whether you have a cell phone or you have a high-end camera, anything, your photographs are welcome. We create a list of themes for the year, and we say these are the themes for every month, and we meet on a monthly basis and we share these images with each other. And there's no critique, and we actually convince each other to do better and do different types of photography. And from time to time, we even have get-togethers where we go out and shoot together. And
That's
we come
fantastic.
back. And it's just very on a very social basis.
And it's a good way of encouraging each other to make sure they participate in this.
Yes, and there's no one that's now more superior than the other, that you'll get told your image, this is wrong, it's a sharing and appreciating.
And from how young, what is the youngest age that somebody can start with photography?
There is actually no limit on the age. The younger you start, the better, actually, I believe. So if your child is running around with an iPad in the house and he can start taking photographs, keep a collection, teach him, let him advance himself. There's so many tutorials on YouTube that you can actually have a look at when it comes to cell phone photography, that you can actually learn from. Because a lot of the learning that I did was actually self-taught, where I went, I saw an image, I really liked it, and I went onto the internet, YouTube, and I saw what people did. I saw the settings they use, I saw the technique they use behind it, and then I went out and tried it.
Fantastic. So it's also taking a lot of personal responsibility to keep advancing yourself.
You have to, all the time. You learn every single day something new.
And I'm sure in the technology world, we know how fast things change. So this is something that you have to keep up at quite a rapid pace as well. You mentioned the kids clubs that you've got running in Roshni, but many of our viewers come from all over South Africa. How are they able to tap into this or access you and your wife in terms of getting their kids involved or getting themselves involved in photography?
You know, I think if a group of friends get together and say, let's start this small photography club within our own community and just put it on social media and say, whoever's interested, just join us, we'll meet once a month. That's the start. From there, you can develop, you can see what other clubs, they're welcome to contact us, we'll let them know what our club does as well. But I think just get together, even if it's 3-4 people, and at least start it.
So basically what we're doing here is we're just making sure we push them to ensure they start an online club that we can all access.
It was in my mind, I must be honest with you. So I just thought there is another club that I saw that has an online submission. But it's always, you know, the downside to that is you don't meet the people.
Yes.
And I think that's a very important part of photography, is to actually get to meet with the people that you engage with. So, but the online club is a possibility.
So we're waiting, inshallah, to see the launch of that, the online club, because I think it's a wonderful way for people from all over, especially in smaller towns, to be able to have access to people who'll be able to say, try this perhaps, or use this lighting, and giving specific tips. So I think, I'm hoping that's something we can look forward to coming out of your page very soon, inshallah.
I hope so, and I think also going forward, maybe to do a short presentation, a short course, you know, just a one-day course for people who are really interested. If they get together, a group of friends, and say, really, we are interested, can you come and assist us with at least the basics? But I would always advise somebody who gets a new camera, do a basic course. A lot of the cameras that you buy nowadays, you get a free course, and see some of the brands like Nikon offer free courses all the time. Just attend.
And go for that.
And go for that. I promise you, the amount you learn from the people who are in the industry is unbelievable.
Fantastic. So we're looking very forward to that and to continue watching your journey, because like I said, your pictures are absolutely breathtaking. They are remarkable how you've captured the essence. I always say when you look at pictures, there's pictures like the ones I take, and then there's pictures where you can actually see the soul being captured in those pictures. And if you look at their Instagram page, it's exactly that. It's absolutely astounding and remarkable. And what's even more thrilling for me is that it's people within our community who are putting pictures of this caliber out there. So we wish you and your wife absolute luck on this journey. And we look forward to sharing it with you as we go along.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you here, and we do look forward. My kids will be the first one signing up for the online one, so we look forward to being a part of that as well.
No, I really appreciate the opportunity to be present here today.
Fantastic. And just before we go, your Instagram page handles and Facebook social media handles that people can follow you on?
Yeah, on Instagram it's Mems and Farida Karim, and Facebook we have a brand, Image Addicts.
Perfect.
ADDIX.
We'll definitely look out for you. This is the page to have a look at if you're interested in any form of photography, especially wildlife and landscaping. The tips and tricks are in abundance, and it's really, because it's not a job, it's even more so because there's passion in it. It's something that they truly enjoy doing and something that is part of their lives. I have no doubt we're going to benefit far more than anyone else on their journey while they continue on it. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to be speaking about modest fashion trends for 2018. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to iTREND on ITV. We were chatting to Mems Karim about photography tips, tricks, online clubs, how to make sure we get involved in things that are creative, that are functional, and make the most of our time, good use of our time. In the next segment, we have got two phenomenal sisters. There's no way you can be in their presence without just falling in love with these magnificent human beings. They have this very open way about themselves. And the first time I met them, you just want to listen to them all the time. And you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about when you hear them chatting. I'd like to welcome to my studio Sabina and Jehan from My Online Souk. Assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam.
This is long overdue. I'm so glad that you girls are finally here. Tell me a little bit about My Online Souk.
So My Online Souk is basically your online wardrobe. Jehan and I have a basic, we curate what you find on the website, and it's everything you would want as for your modest lifestyle needs. I mean, from clothing, and now we're dabbling more into like accessories and other lifestyle stuff.
But why did you find the need for an online souk? And I know when I looked at it, you taking like very select items from various designers and putting it all together for us and saying, here's an easy way for you to access it. Yeah. But why find the need to put this together?
Because we felt like we needed to create a one-stop shop for everybody. I know Sabina is a mom with 2 kids. She never has time. I don't know why I don't have time, because I don't have kids. But like, the convenience of online shopping is just something you won't get anywhere else. And instead of having people browse around constantly different sites, or paying different shipping fees, like separate shipping fees for everything, we wanted to create a one-stop shop. You go there, you know what you want to find, whether it's just for like a casual day, or it's a holiday at the beach, or it's for a function or something. We want to curate everything so that you know that what you need is going to be there.
But you've taken it one step further as well, because it's not just about shopping. I mean, one of my favorite things that I love watching on your channel is your little hijab videos where you two are chatting to each other. And I absolutely love it, because I think it's so real. It's not orchestrated. It's just so much fun between sisters, and it's so wonderful to see that. And I'm going to ask you about working with sisters, but just in terms of my online souk, it's taken, I don't know, has it taken a life of its own, or has it just grown? Is this where you wanted to see it going?
I think, yes, we did we always wanted that engagement with everyone. And the thing is, it's not just about having products and selling products. It's about being a part of the community and engaging with everyone and bringing out, like, for us, modest fashion, it's being, I mean, you'll see the trends everywhere in fashion globally. There's modest fashion. It's playing a part everywhere. I mean, we've got Dolce & Gabbana, we've got Marc Jacobs now as well. I mean, it's everywhere. But we feel that it's a faith-based fashion. And we need to make sure it's stemming from people who believe in the faith. So for us to engage with the audience, it's important, because we want everyone to feel like, look, we're all one, we're all the same, and this is what we believe in, and it's great, and feel comfortable doing that. And we like we have this hijab starter kit. I'm sure you know, we've been on the site and everything. But like for ladies who are starting to wear the hijab, we have like YouTube tutorials on advice and tips, not just like styling advice and tips, but like for yourself as well. Why are you wearing it? And you know, we want to connect with people. It's all about connecting and empowering and helping people.
So those advice and tips are not just for people who are starting hijab, it's for people like me who've been wearing it for years and still have hijab issues. How do you manage that from a personal perspective? Because obviously, coming from my online souk, you are the faces of your own business, of your own ideas that you've put out there. But it's also, you've got to manage the hijab and making sure the dressing is always correct. And you guys always look absolutely fabulous. But is that an extra stress on you, or do you just take that in your stride because it's something you enjoy doing?
I enjoy hijab. I mean, I've been wearing the hijab now maybe 12 years.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And I won't lie, initially it was a bit daunting, and I used to stick to the very easy styles. I think you call them short burqas. That was me. And it's also because I was a very active person. I used to cycle to work and things. So that was like the perfect hijab for me at the time. But I've progressed since then, and I think anyone can. Anyone can. I mean, it's just up to you. You just have to find your comfort zone, you know. And sometimes, if you're a woman who's had a history of not wearing hijab and progressing into wearing hijab, it's a bit of an identity thing, you know. Like, how do you now re-identify? You're not used to doing your hair anymore and things like that, you know. You have to find yourself, and it's about playing with it and feeling comfortable and confident. I mean, no matter what you do, you have to be confident in it, and that's what,
absolutely,
it's what's inside that has to come out.
I love that, because you're right, no matter what it is, it's about our inner confidence that brings it out. But I have to tell you, I sometimes do find that I spend more time doing my hijab than my hair. So, Jahan, for you also, what has that journey been like in terms of where you started and where you are now?
So exactly from what Sabina was saying is that I think we've been there. We know what it's like, and we know what other people need as well, and that's why we want to provide that for them. So in that whole journey into modest dressing, like, we knew what our struggles were, you know, like trying to find long sleeves or longer skirts, and like, you know, just simple basics really. We've understood that struggle, and even with hijab, like the scarves you find in regular stores they're terrible quality. They're not made to be hijabs. And so that's why, you know, we took it upon ourselves to find what's right for our customers, as in like better quality hijabs that are going to last you, that are going to suit your skin tone, and like will be comfortable to wear and stay on your head and all of that stuff.
Okay, so then I have to ask this question. Ladies, what are you wearing today?
So I'm wearing a maxi dress by Jeans, who's one of the designers that we stock.
It's absolutely beautiful.
It's actually it's a digital print silk, if you want to feel it.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it's just like, it's really comfortable. It's
Are these proudly South African garments?
yes, we like to promote.
My favorites are proudly South African.
Majority of our stock is South African, and we like that. We want to
Yes.
promote South African. We want to promote local. So we are actively looking into the market and finding up and coming designers and getting them onto my online circuit.
So I have to ask you this. You have put your turbans together so well. It's something I struggle with greatly. But you've got the covering around your neck. And I know that was the one reason I didn't end up wearing a turban today, because the top was slightly lower. How did you get the covering around your neck that makes it look all together?
So there's this lovely thing called a ninja, which I absolutely love. If you're going to have a turban style or any style that's a little bit open around the neck area, ninjas are amazing. I wish I had one to show you, but basically it's like a covering that covers your whole head portion as well as your neck, and it just sits about there. It's really an essential in your wardrobe if you want to have like these sort of play with your hijab styles.
Because it just makes sure everything is still covered, and you can still adapt your hijab styling in any way possible.
Exactly. I mean, some people don't cover their neck, but for me it's important. And I find the ninja just gives me that versatility.
I love it. It looks beautiful. And you, Jahan.
Yes, thank you. So I'm wearing actually something that we launched from our own in-house brand. So as we said that we do stock a lot of other brands and we like to support them and promote them, we felt we had something to bring to the modest fashion industry that wasn't quite there yet. And that's graphic t-shirts and clothing with like messages and that contain our values and what we believe in and are able to portray that in them. So this is one of our t-shirts from Lantern. It says Quwwatun Nisa, which is girl power.
I love that.
Yeah, so because there's a whole feminist trend going on and like women empowerment movements, we wanted to bring our Islamic identity into that. And because obviously around Islam, it's always been women particularly within Islam are oppressed. We wanted to combat that and say, here's our message. This is how we say girl power.
I love it.
So our brand is called Lantern, and we called it Lantern for a very specific purpose. It wasn't just because I know if people are familiar with our logo, My Online Souk, we have a little lantern in our logo. So it creates that identification for people, but it's also, it means a lot more. The lantern represents light, and you know, Allah is light upon light, and all the beautiful metaphors of light in the Quran. And that's what we wanted to bring back to our modest fashion industry, because if all these international players are dabbling in modest fashion, we can't let them run away with modest fashion industry and, you know,
and
you don't know where they're going to go.
Yes,
We have to be owning this space.
I love it.
We have to show that, you know, we are the ones who believe and value modesty, and we'll never let you down with that because we believe it too.
I love that. And you quoted my favorite verse from Surah Al-Nur, light upon light upon light. But there's no doubt these ladies are ahead of their times. And I truly agree with owning the space and owning our spaces, because modest fashion is where we are associated with. We are women, we do love fashion, but we can marry it with our modesty at the same time. So I do love that, and I love the power of the woman. We have to take a very quick ad break, and when we come back, we are going to be speaking to these sisters who completely radiate light. Stay tuned. The show today has gone by so quickly. We're in the last segment of the iTREND show this morning, and we are chatting to the dynamic sisters from My Online Souk, Sabina and Jahan, who are now going to take us through what the modest fashion trends are for 2018. Ladies, tell us what my online souk has in store for us.
Well, I think Jihan was speaking about earlier about lantern and the powerful messaging in the t-shirts.
Yes, I love it.
So we have a few of the t-shirts here. This one here is called Guided by Light, and that's basically the tagline for lantern.
But what I like about the t-shirts is I didn't know that Jahan, I thought it was a sleeveless t-shirt that you had a jacket over. And what I love about the fact is that they're actually all long sleeve t-shirts. You don't need to put inners in, you don't need to wear anything under. It's completely, it covers everything.
Yes, it's the whole intention. And look at the sleeve detail as well. It's got a batwing sleeve, which is really comfortable. I think sometimes you wear those, the ones with the join, and it's uncomfortable and you feel fidgety. But this has got this beautiful batwing, gives you room and
I was just going to say, it gives you the room so that it also looks a little bit more modest.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
And then like the cuff detail, it's easy to pull out for making wudu. It's got a longer length.
I like that.
Yeah,
and these are always difficult to come by. I think for women, when we go out and we want to shop, many of us still wear our jeans, so it's difficult to find those longer tops that look nice, that you don't have to add an extra something to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Sabina and I are very casual people, and like I mentioned earlier, we're always on the go. We like to like grab something and just run off, and this is exactly what we needed and felt other people would need, that you can just slip it on, don't have to worry about your modesty, and just head out the door.
There we go.
This is another one, this message, I think Jihan, you wanted to talk about it.
So like we said, one of the trends for 2018 is these messaging t-shirts, all the graphics on the t-shirts and sweatshirts. And so we took our twist on it and created our own. So this one is Ukhti Club. And basically that means sister club. Exactly. Because we wanted to promote the unity amongst sisters and our entire ummah as a sisterhood. There's too much competition. There's all this feeling of competing and judging each other, and we wanted to just combat that and say, no, this is our value. Remember what we believe in. It's sisterhood.
Absolutely. So basically what we're saying is we've got the printed t-shirts that are coming out this season, but we're putting a twist on it and making it ours.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. Great.
So this is another piece. This is by Bobolia Threads.
Oh, we love her. We've had her on our show. She's fabulous.
She is.
And you'll see that like ethnic prints are like trending a lot. You'll see a lot of different kinds of ethnicities, but ethnic prints are definitely trending.
And I love the cut on that. And it's got a long,
it's a high at the back. Yes, and it's a peplum.
And what's lovely with this is you can pair this with just about anything.
Yes,
so make it look smart, casual, or formal.
Exactly. Yeah. Another piece by her is a kaftan, which has also got the ethnic printing in it.
And that's what we're seeing, like you mentioned, a lot more of, because I think as much as we're owning our identity as Muslim women, we also are owning our identity as Muslim African women.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I love.
Definitely. I think the trend for 2018 is it's being very bold about your individuality and comfortable expressing yourself through your fashion. So I think there was a phase in modest fashion that was neutrals, and now it's all color.
I'm out there.
Yes, exactly.
So this is a piece by Jean. It's a floral maxi skirt. You still see floral trends going on. I know it's been around, but it's still continuing, but the prints are more bolder in colors. That's the trends that are going on, and you'll see like designers like Anna Hari, she's like famous for her prints, but like lengths of the things are like usually there'll be longer lengths, but now there's a lot of 3/4 lengths in, and she's also embracing 3/4 lengths. You'll see that. This is another, it's a tunic. This is a silk digital print, also by Jean.
I love the digital prints. And what's also fabulous about this is these are proudly South African brands. So you can easily just access it knowing you're benefiting somebody in our own economy as well.
You see a lot of wide leg pants.
This has been my favorite comeback thing, I have to be honest with you. As much as everyone said no, they weren't thrilled with this, I love this.
Yeah.
So these are linen wide leg pants, and definitely you will see a lot of this.
And you're seeing a lot more of color coming in as well, because I'm saying it's not just...
there's a navy here.
I'm usually more conservative and we tend to the navies and the creams, but I actually like that type of color as well.
Yes, it's quite bold, and I mean you can wear it with a muted down color, so you're not too balance it.
So while you're showing us this, I'll pass this to you. Let me ask you, how do people purchasing online understand sizes or how to get the right size? Because my worry would be, am I getting what I'm really seeing online?
So we do we try to address that by having a size guide. So as we stock a few designer brands, we try and have each designer brand, if it's different to the South African standard, their size guide.
Okay,
and it's
great.
got measurements, and
So
so
you
that
can
should help you.
monitor it.
Yes,
Perfect.
exactly. So as long as you know your measurements, you know that this is your fit. And then in our descriptions, we also like to say if it's a loose cut or it's a slim cut, or,
Perfect.
to give
So
you
people
that.
understand.
Yes.
And also, we're very open. We've had people messaging us being like, will this fit me? And they send us our measurements and we make sure we get the right
Yes.
size for them.
That's what I love about you guys. It's always hands-on service.
So, like we were talking about, bold is still in. So stripes are bold, and this is still, like stripes, you will see a lot of stripes still. This is by Khatija Khan.
Oh, I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
She was sold out with everything recently. But what I like about this shirt is I know that we've seen it so much, and it's been around since last year, but yet it's still there, and it's still fitting in with the modest fashion wear, and it's still something that everyone is able to use.
And what I like about this, it's full button front, so you can wear it closed, or you can like open it up and just throw it over.
Absolutely. Perfect. Let me give you that one.
Another thing to watch out for is sleeves are just never going to be the same. They're always, I think now you'll always find it's got a bell, it's got a frill, it's got a elasticated cuff with a puff or something like that. It's just, sleeves are just continuing to be like detailed.
Okay, so it's something you've just got to look out for and see what's comfortable for you and what
Yes.
you want to wear. Okay, let me pass that to
And
you.
so kimonos, florals, this is by Miss Poetry.
Oh, that's beautiful.
a lot of-
Kimonos have made quite a trend. I mean, not
Yes,
just in
yeah.
modest fashion, we're in all fashion. I mean, you're seeing it in every magazine. You're seeing it all over when people are out. And this must have been an easy range for you to say, hey, we've already been there.
Yeah, but kimonos are still trending. It's an easy thing to throw over. I think a lot of us still do like to wear our pants, our jeans, and this just gives it that feminine appeal on top.
Perfect. And so, wow, yeah.
And like you said, the trend that's been showing up more and more is this outerwear.
Yes.
And I think it started with kimonos. Now it's going into jackets, like your beautiful one, and also
fabulous ones.
and trench coats and these sort of blazers and
Yes.
everything. All outerwear is like
Bomber
really coming into
jackets as
fashion.
well, you'll see it. Yeah, like now we're going into winter, so it's trench coats, but
We'll
three-quarter.
follow you for winter to see what. Tell us
So
very
this is
quickly.
by Demure by S. It's a wrap-over dress, and as you can see, it's a full floral and beautiful print
She's
and
also got
colors as well.
lovely, lovely clothes. And I love the fact that, again, proudly South African. I know we're running short on time, so we'll do this last one.
And this is just another
Example of 3D work is also coming into
Perfect.
and then
trending.
also florals. So this is also by Miss Poetry. And all these garments that we've shown you are local designers and on my online sook. So you can see that our local South Africans are on trend, and they are going towards
I love it.
Yeah.
Ladies, it's been such a pleasure having you here. I think you are such a wonderful representation of talented South African designers that we are able to access. And you make modest dressing so much easier for all of us who struggle with it on a daily basis. So jazakallah to both of you.
Jazakallah so much for having us.
It's been a pleasure. There's no doubt we never have excuses on making sure we dressed appropriately, we dressed modestly, and we dressed fashionably, because at the end of the day, we are women, we do enjoy it. And these sisters are showing us that we can marry all of that together and still make sure that our values and the power of women come out in the forefront all the time by making sure we adhere to certain rules as well. I love the fact that they are representative of so many proudly South African designers, and they're showing us how we can be Muslim, how we can be African, and on top of it, we just marry that with our female identity. Alhamdulillah, you can follow them on my online souk, and I will tag it on my social media pages as well. Shukran so much for joining us on air today. We look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
من زينة الإيمان أن السلام